And welcome back again to Who Would Win. I didn't do yesterday's, I was feeling a little but I'm getting to it today. And this one comes to us from both Dylan H. and Aaron Mad Dog O'Reilly, or as I like to always say your name, Aaron Mad Dog O'Reilly, who asked the question, who would win in a fight, Venom or Pennywise the Dancing Clown? So Venom, and we'll be using the Eddie Brock Venom. That's the common Venom that's used. Or the most common, most well-known version of Venom. There is a couple other versions of Venom, like Matt Gargan was Venom for a little while. Flash Thompson was a Venom for quite a bit of time. But we're using Eddie Brock. So the Venom is a symbiote from a race known as the Clintar. They are symbiotic, not parasitic, but symbiotic life forms that bond with the host, benefit each other. But at the same time, they can amplify your abilities. But at the same time, they can move on to a better host. Well, obviously, if you know the story of Venom, he bonded to Spider-Man. Didn't work out so well, so he bonded to Eddie Brock, and now you have Venom. Venom is basically superior, technically speaking, to Spider-Man in nearly every way. Physically speaking, speed-wise, durability-wise, web shooters. He can hide from Spider-Man's spider sense. He has his own spider sense. So he can lift several tens of tons. I think his upper limit is somewhere in the neighborhood of near 100, but not quite. He can withstand gunfire, durable hits from superpowered individuals. No problem. He has a healing factor. He can shapeshift. He is an extremely dangerous individual. Of course, there are far more powerful symbiotes, such as Carnage, Toxin, Null. Technically, Null isn't a symbiote. He's the guy who created the symbiotes. Crap. What was his symbiote's name, though? It was a symbiote dragon. Grendel? Is that it? Was it Grendel? Let me know if it was Grendel. I think it was Grendel. Anyway, there are more powerful symbiotes, but he's kind of like the original. He's the OG one to show up in the comics. So, that said, though, he's not invincible. Obviously, symbiotes have two primary weaknesses. Now, surprisingly, it can vary a little bit, especially the more, the race evolves, their weaknesses tend to be mitigated somewhat. High frequency sound and fire. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, because Carnage has the same weaknesses, Carnage is a bit more resistant actually to high frequency than Venom is, but more weaker to fire, whereas Venom's more actually resistant to fire than Carnage is, but more weaker to high frequency sound. So, it's, that being said, if those still hit, or, if someone still attacked Venom with those, he'd still be in trouble. It's just he's got a bit slightly more higher resistance to fire than someone like Carnage does. For some reason. I don't know how that happened. Might be just because of the bonding process being mixed with blood or something like that. But there's also another catch that we'll get into a little later on. All I'll say is that the catch involves the fact that, technically speaking, Venom is two separate individuals. He's two separate beings. He's the symbiote, which is what you see in the picture, but then he's also Eddie Brock, the man underneath there. That may play a factor later on. So, Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and just so people can get off my back, and not everyone gets on my back, but occasionally people get on my back about this, about not knowing Pennywise. Like, dude, you really need to look into Pennywise, stuff like that. Let's get the actual information of Pennywise up here. Pennywise is a shape-shifting creature known as a glamour, who is billions of years old, although he's lived on planet Earth. It originated from a void dimension outside our own regions, known as space, our universe known as the Macroverse. So everything I have said up until this point with Pennywise is true. Also, what is true is that his true form is technically the Deadlights. His species are called Deadlights. Now, he's actually the Glamour are like a fear-eating race of individuals. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know there was technically more of Pennywise, but there technically are. He's also not like the end-all be-all in the universe. Like Maturin the Turtle is equal in power to him. And individual such called Gone, I believe is his name. Where is he? I can't find it, but Gone apparently is like the true god of the Stephen King universe and could easily kill Pennywise, honestly. Anyway, though, his true form is the Deadlights. Now, apparently they are a shape-shifting race of creatures. It means he has no true form, although, one second here, Deadlights. Where is it? Yep, there it is. Although, the closest our minds can perceive it is the giant spider form. As you can see, the deadlights there. But Bill said that he stared into the deadlights and comes dangerously close to seeing the deadlights and the shape behind the shape for a brief moment. He described it as an endless, crawling, hairy creature made of orange light. So, yeah, it technically does have a form. Pennywise does have a form, but it's just... he's just he can take other forms. He's a shapeshifter. His preferred form, though, is his favorite form is Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Now, as a female marker, he feeds off fear. I mean, he eats people, but he feeds on fear. Fear makes him stronger, and and his abilities range from lower tier omnipotence to like telepathy, being able to just read minds and communicate, mind control and possession, shapeshifting really whatever he wants. Usually he'll try to aim for what you're afraid of. Illusions, invisibility, telekinesis, psionics. Cryokinesis can apparently manipulate plants, possibly control the weather. Teleportation, superhuman strength, can tear the heads and limbs off human bodies with ease, either with arms or mouth. Superhuman speed. Bill noted that it can move at extreme speed, claiming that it was way faster than the express train. Interesting. And invulnerability, not invincible. He has high levels of healing. Easily can just take hits. However, weaknesses include his underestimations and scorns of all mankind. Basically means he's overconfident, narcissistic, and prone to making illogical choices. Given he feeds on fear, anyone with courage, it makes sense that courage and heart can overcome it. Once the losers are united, their strong sharing and will and love for each other successfully overpowers the creature. It allows them to form a psychic connection and send power to each other, even across distances. It can also be taken by surprise and be physically assaulted if the attacker demonstrates no fear of it. Additionally, belief can affect it as well. Believing silver could hurt it allows it to actually work, or believing that an inhaler is battery acid. The novel also notes that it must obey the laws of the form it takes, meaning that it is vulnerable in whatever form it takes, such as a vampire vulnerable to garlic or sunlight, or winged leeches obeying physics of flight. It's possible you can hurt him during the hibernation period, but it remains to be seen if you can actually do that. So, now that we got that out of the way, who wins in this fight? Well, first off, excuse me, I'm just adjusting. First off, Venom, obviously, Venom would have to be drawn to Maine, because I don't see Pennywise leaving Maine. That's Pennywise's kind of crib of eating people. He doesn't really leave Maine. So Eddie Brock is in town, comes to town, whatever. He catches Pennywise in the act, and they go to fight. Pennywise initially would be confused at what Venom is. He's probably seen things kind of similar to Venom, but he's never met a Clintar before, obviously. So he's a little like, I don't know what you are, but I'm not in the mood to play. I'd like to eat my dinner, please. Like, leave the kid alone. Play with us. So the fight would begin. Venom would be the aggressor in the fight, definitely. He'd probably come out with some web shooting, maybe some assault, maybe just attack with claws. Now, Pennywise would have a problem initially. He can't feed off fear from Venom. Venom's not even afraid of, let's be clear, Venom's weaknesses are not the same as Venom's fears. I couldn't really find anything that Venom's afraid of. But at the same time, this is where the catch comes in. As the fight would continue, Pennywise would be weakening because he just can't sense fear coming off him. However, Pennywise is nigh omnipotent with telepathy and telekinesis and illusion creation. He would be able to sense that Venom and Eddie, while merged, still have separate minds. I mean, I'm not just talking about in the movie. It is clear that Venom and Eddie do still think, they can think in tandem with each other, but do think separately at the same time. And the question would be, could he exploit Eddie's human fears? Because let's be clear, if he tries to go into like the deadlights or anything along those lines, yes, that would affect Eddie, but because Eddie's got the symbiote suit with him, and because Venom is an alien overall and is basically protecting him, he's not. Would have, and because frankly, let's be honest, Pennywise's real form wouldn't again, the whole deadlights thing. Let's be clear about this. It can drive us insane because for all intent and purposes, the Earth, not the dark tower or Keystone Earth, all that stuff, but the Earth that we see in most Stephen King stories, including it, is our Earth. There are no superhuman individuals. There's nothing like that. Now, obviously, supernatural shit happens, but there's no amazing feats that happen. So it is essentially, that's why we had trouble processing it, because by all accounts, this shouldn't exist. It's essentially Cthulhu-esque. It's Lovecraftian in that way. But the problem with the Deadlights going up against really anyone from any comic book universe ever. Okay, not anyone. Any higher tier or even mid tier. Here's the thing. Even Batman, I feel, would be resistant to the Deadlights at least because of how much shit Batman has seen in his life. Are you kidding me? Pennywise is nothing compared to that. And I haven't done a Batman versus Pennywise video yet. I eventually will do that at some point. But Batman's seen way freakier shit and more dangerous shit than Pennywise. You kidding? Pennywise wouldn't even stack up in the top 20 characters in the DC universe or the Marvel universe. So for the Deadlights might affect Venom. Let's be clear about that. It's not to say he'd be a complete immune to it, but to say it would drive him insane or kill him, it just wouldn't do that in my mind. It's just because so many characters like Venom and beyond deal with so much more than Pennywise in terms of power, the reality warping individuals, mind manipulators, that Pennywise just really isn't shit comparatively. Now, that being said, like I said, Pennywise's Deadlights might still affect Venom. It just might unnerve him a little bit, or even kind of put a state of anxiety into, or fight or flight. But that would just cause Venom to fight harder. Now, that's a state of anxiety might help boost Pennywise a little bit, but it wouldn't be by much. This would just be the battle of attrition, really. Because Pennywise would still try to hurt Venom. He could take his spider form, just smack him around, definitely, and that would hurt Venom, absolutely. Ultimately, it just comes down to who's going to outlast who. And here's the thing. If Pennywise can glean Venom's actual weakness from his head, from his mind, I would give it to Pennywise, who would just honestly turn into some sort of sonic vibration thing, just create this giant sonic noise of some kind. Because he would be able to do that. He has some levels of reality warping, so he'd be able to, and shapeshifting, obviously. So he could probably do that. The question would be, would Venom, having dealt with people who could do that multiple times, be able to overcome that to get to Pennywise? I think because of the whole power of the human spirit mixed with Venom, I think it would actually be close just because Pennywise could glean the weakness of Venom from him. But I do think Pennywise would come out on top overall. I think he's dealt with enough people who have powers like sonic-based weaponry that he's learned to avoid it at this point, or try to minimize it, his risk to it. And Pennywise, when you break it down, might be physically powerful by human standards, but Venom, I think, completely trumps him in terms of true physicality. It's just the matter of Pennywise maybe trying to cast an illusion to stall Venom, but as the fight goes on, Pennywise's power would just weaken because he doesn't have fear to feed off him. So, and Venom not being afraid of him at all would really be a problem. Now, in truth, Pennywise, if he really felt he was going to lose, probably would just retreat. But but that's still a victory in Venom's case, court. So I'm going to go, I don't generally do I kind of go off and on with the percentages this time. I'll go 75% of the time Venom. I think a quarter of the time Pennywise will pull out a win just by turning into something that could actually hurt Venom, like a sonic weapon, and then eventually just peeling off the symbiote. But then that question becomes, what does the symbiote do after that? Does he try to attach to Pennywise, or did it just attach back to Eddie? So, who knows? But honestly, that's my thoughts on it. I do think the winner is Venom here. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, though. Do you think it's Venom, or do you think it's Pennywise? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if, anything to do in the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. Be back tomorrow with a who would win and a what if. So thanks for watching. See you later, folks.